Hello and welcome to the podcast NBA Live. I'm here with Grímur, my co-star, and this is Hákon.
Today we're going to be talking about the NBA in our mixed assignment. And, well, let's get right into it. We're just going to start off by talking about the basic rules of basketball, really. So, the way basketball works, there are two teams on the court, two hoops, 5 players on each team on the court. And, there are 4 quarters in a basketball game, 12 minutes per quarter, and it's just a very fun sport to watch.
Yes. Let's talk about the rookies. They've been absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So the rookies are the newcomers to the league who have been recently drafted. And, the rookies have gone on to a hot start.
Yeah.
This season, Ja Morant averaging 20 points per game.
He's been absolutely amazing. Dunking over like 7 feet centers and
as well, the Tyler Herro from the Miami Heat.
yeah, he's been on fire.
And Christian Nunn, who was undrafted, breaking a new record. So
let's talk about the Lakers. They are on top of the league and doing really well. They've beaten 5 teams and lost 1 game.
Yeah, so the record is 5-1, and the Lakers have always been a huge team with a lot of budget
and a huge fan base.
Yeah, and a huge fan base. Just the biggest fan base in the NBA. They're a very popular team, and this season
they always have been. They've always been like a huge monument in sports. The Lakers team.
The Lakers are, I think, on the list of the top 10 most valuable teams in the world when it comes to fans. And the Lakers have a great roster this season. They have LeBron James, who most people know, and he got Anthony Davis to pair up with him.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis is a huge up-and-coming star.
Yeah, up-and-coming. He's already top of the league.
Star, but
26 years old.
In like 3 years, he's gonna be like the best in the league. Yeah,
he's a great player. So when we say the Lakers are a great team in the Western Conference, there are 2 conferences in basketball. So a Western and an Eastern Conference. And there are 12 teams on each conference.
Yeah, and in a lot of people's opinions, the Western Conference is much more difficult.
Yeah.
The NBA works like that. There's a regular season, and the top 8 teams in each zone, each conference. The top 8 teams go into a game mode called playoffs. So that's just like a tournament.
Yeah.
Which
basically just quarterfinals, semifinals, the finals.
Yeah.
And all that. We all know what a tournament is. So the strongest. So the teams with the best record out of the just regular season. The regular season is actually 80 games per team. So each team is almost playing every team. I don't know, 4 times.
And the playoffs, you compete 4 games? No.
Yeah.
5 games.
The playoffs are always the first team to win 4 games.
Yeah, so best of 7.
Best of 7, really. So
and you have to go 4 or 5 rounds of that.
4.
How many rounds of the playoffs?
4 rounds.
Yeah, 4 rounds.
So you can imagine the form the players are in.
Yeah, they have to be in.
Amazing
form.
Superb form, and it's actually mind blowing.
Yeah.
How it really shows that these players aren't normal humans. The NBA has been going on for 40 years almost now.
Yeah, even more. I think.
Even more, and there have only been 4,600 players to play the game
ever
in
the NBA.
In the NBA, which is very mind blowing.
It's been going on for 60 years. It was founded
almost 60.
Even 70 years. It was founded 1950.
Yeah, 1950, let's say, and it's mind blowing how few
players actually
get into the league.
You have to be extraordinarily good at basketball.
Yeah, each year there's a so-called draft where teams select college players to join their rosters essentially, and only 120 players can come in every year.
Yeah.
So the number isn't going up fast, which is just you have to be really good to get into the league. So
and like if you look at these players, I think the average height in the NBA is about 2 meters tall.
Yeah,
and they are huge and have huge amounts of mass on their body. They're all very muscular.
These guys are no joke. The average height.
Imagine like the pressure on their knees because they're so heavy and tall.
The pressure on their body.
But they're still like playing over 80 games a season.
And just basketball isn't a normal sport. You're jumping, you're sprinting, you're running all the time.
So these guys have to be like in the best shape possible. Yeah. I would say if I had to choose like which sports category, like which sport has the like most athlete, not
just
like
the best athletes.
Yeah,
not complete.
Yeah, they are without a doubt the most complete athletes.
Yeah, they could be sprinters, they could be
jumpers,
they could play almost. They could be in the NFL if they wanted to.
Yeah,
rugby, because the form is just ridiculous, and it's. You hear it all the time that just NBA players, you really get shocked. For example, the greatest player almost of all time, named Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
He played the so-called center spot, which means you have to be very heavy, you're under a basket trying to catch rebounds. He was, I think, 150 kilos.
Yeah.
And 2.18 meters or something.
Yeah, he was absolutely huge, but...
Imagine just how... his body just...
But with that being said, he was like 150 kilos, 2 meters and 80 centimeters. Yeah. But still, he had one of the highest vertical jumps in like all of the NBA.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, 150 kilos, just jumping like you're a little ballet dancer.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
And the thing we love most about basketball is how versatile it is.
Yeah,
because the best team can literally become the worst team in 3 months.
Yeah.
For example, let's talk about the Golden State.
Yeah, wow.
For the past 5 years, they've been the
finals champ. Okay.
Yeah,
they've always been the finals.
They've gone to the NBA finals for 5 years straight,
and
which is not easy.
Times.
And won 3 times. Yeah. And now, this season, they lost their star player, Kevin Durant, to the Brooklyn Nets. And Klay Thompson, who is also one of their best players, is injured. And Steph Curry recently got injured as well.
He recently broke his hand.
Yeah.
And with a snap of a finger, they're on the bottom of the league.
Yeah, and we can say that with full confidence because there are power rankings each week in the NBA.
Yeah.
Just where sport experts talk about the strongest teams with the best records and the worst teams. And the Golden State Warriors, who are based in San Francisco, were selected as the worst team this season in the NBA.
Yes.
In literally 3 months, they went on from playing in the NBA Finals in 2019.
Being like the number 1 pick for...
Yeah,
they were predicted to win the season before it started.
Some people thought they would win the season, but now they're just... People don't know if they're going to make it to the playoffs. I think their record is like 1-5.
Yeah.
So they won 1 game and lost 5, which is just very bad.
Who do you think will win the season, the finals?
I personally think it's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers or the Lakers.
Yeah. Like most people are predicting Lakers, Clippers, Sixers,
The Sixers have a really complete roster. They're a young team with really tall players.
Yeah.
Their style is really not like everybody else's because most teams nowadays just use medium-sized players who can shoot the basketball very well.
Yeah, but these players, they are just animals. They drive into the basket. They play a really fun type of basketball.
Yeah, it's just a very... They kind of play street basketball almost.
Yeah, what I like to see in a basketball game... If I ever went to see a basketball game, like in real life...
Yeah.
And there would not be one dunk, I would be disappointed. I love the dunks in basketball.
Yeah. But as well, we should maybe talk about how fun it's just to watch games at basketball. Because in football, you sort of get the same goals every time. From corners, just strikers scoring normal goals. Now and then we get crazy shots from long distance away. But in basketball, it's really... never the same game because
it's always changing.
Players can shoot 3-pointers, which is just extremely hard, and they do it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And they can also go onto the basket, posterize, which is dunking, and it's so versatile, the sport, and it's just very fun to watch.
It's also like in football, some games there's like no goal or even a goal attempt.
Yeah.
In basketball, every game is like combined they score like at least 100 points.
Yeah, and 20 years ago in basketball, the games were I don't know, it was almost every time just 80 to 80 points or something. But now in basketball, because of the 3-point shooting has gotten a lot better, the games are just it's ridiculous what the score is sometimes. I think I saw a game last week between the Heat and Timberwolves or something, and the game was like 151 to 130 points, which is just almost a basket in every single attack.
You know, it's just so much action to watch the game, you know.
Yeah. And we got into basketball really this May when the finals were.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was shocked just how fun it is to watch.
Yeah,
because
I had never shown it any attention, but suddenly it hit me like, whoa, this is an amazing game.
We're not kidding when we say it's an addiction.
Yeah.
We talked about it straight for 2 months. We didn't shut up about it. It was ridiculous. And it's such a fun sport to watch because the players are regularly getting traded to other teams, a lot of drama, a lot of heat, a lot of swagger.
And also, like, we were talking earlier about, like, the balance of the division.
Yeah.
You know, if you watch, like, football, the English Premier League or something, you know, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester, and Manchester City have been, like, they have been, like, the top 4 teams for about 50 years.
Yeah, and it takes a lot to change that. It doesn't ever happen.
Yeah, unless, like, some team just magically gets a ridiculous amount of money out of a donation. It never happens.
Never happens. And I mean, Barcelona, for example, in soccer, they've just been the best team in the world for as long as I remember myself.
Soccer, you know, the best teams, they stay as the best teams.
Yeah.
But in the NBA, you know, we were talking about the draft earlier, where the draft works like this, that there are young players coming into the division, and, you know, the bottom team of the last season's bracket, you know, they always get the first pick, so they get to pick the best young player in their team.
Yeah.
So that really keeps the division balanced.
It just balances it out a lot, because obviously the worst team getting the best rookie doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna do great that season, but that means they're just gonna get another great player next season.
Yeah, and obviously if you get the best young player in the league, it's gonna improve your it's gonna improve your team a lot. And even if he's not very good for them, or even if he is amazing but can't do enough, then like a bigger team will buy him for like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
And then they can use that money to like invest in more players.
Yeah, and it's also fun to see that NBA players, nobody looks at any team as a bad team.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, Jimmy Butler, he's an NBA player. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers, who went to the semifinals last year. This season, he personally chose to go to the Miami Heat, which can just... One player can basically change the whole team. If you're a star player, you can pick any team, and that is in the I mean, that team can go on to win the NBA just by getting one player. So it's fun to see how all the teams are very balanced. Any team can win anyone, really.
Yeah.
And it's a very open-minded sport. Well, not an open-minded, it's just very fun to watch.
Yeah. And I think that's gonna be the end of our assignment.
Yeah, that's the end of our podcast, really.
I hope it's not like... I hope we're not being bad students by being two together, but we thought it would really be fitting with this assignment, because if you watch any sports news, you know, there's always like two to like maybe 6 guys talking about... It was just... we thought it would be kind of lonely and kind of dull if we were just like one person sitting in a room like talking about the sport, the best sport of basketball.
Yeah, and we hope you listen to the podcast. We don't know if basketball is your
like
go-to sport,
yeah,
but it was just a fun assignment. We love basketball, and we just wanted to make a quick podcast about it.
Yeah. So
and
thank you, Nina.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.